Hello, I'm Matt Woods. I'm a member of St. Joe Parish in Battle Creek. I'm also a member of the Companions of the Renewal, the Franciscan group at St. Joe. Today is the fifth Sunday of Easter, April 28th. The reading is from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that does not bear fruit, and every one that does he prunes so that it bears more fruit. You are already pruned because of the word that I spoke to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own unless it remains on the vine, so neither can you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me will be thrown out like a branch and wither. People will gather them and throw them into a fire, and they will be burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. By this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So when I read this Gospel, I'm reminded of a trip that we took to Rome about 10 years ago, and we visited the Vatican, of course, but we also visited a lot of the other churches, St. Mary Major, St. John Lateran, and there's one church in particular that comes to mind with this reading. It's the Basilica of San Clemente, or St. Clement. The basilica was built in the 12th century. That's the same century that St. Francis was born, interestingly. In the front of the basilica, there is a huge mosaic in what's called the apse. The mosaic was made too in the 12th or 13th century, and it's a mosaic of the vine and the branches. In the center of the mosaic is a crucifixion scene with Mary, the Mother of God, and John, the disciple, the author of today's gospel, standing at the foot of the cross. The hand of God is seen above, giving the wreath of victory to Jesus on the cross. And from the foot of the cross sprouts this big vine, and the tendrils of the vine curl all the way across the front of the church throughout the apse. And in the tendrils, in the branches of the vine, are scenes of the peasant life, of fathers of the church, of the important people of the day are seen going about their daily lives in this mosaic. So when I hear this gospel and I think about the mosaic, what comes to mind is the fact that we are the branches of the vine, and we're tied back to the crucifix, to Jesus, and without him we can do nothing. But also our interconnectedness with all the Christians, all the Catholics throughout the world, now and through time. And so it's something to reflect on, how we're all in this together. I bought a pamphlet when I was there at the Basilica of San Clemente that talked about the history of the church and the fact that it was the fourth church built on the same site as the other churches were destroyed or burned down or whatever happened to them. They just built another one. A pretty interesting history, well worth reading. But in the back cover, there's a quotation by one of my favorite authors, G.K. Chesterton. G.K. Chesterton had a unique way of seeing the world. He kind of saw things in a topsy-turvy way. In fact, he wrote about that when he wrote a sketch or a biography of St. Francis, how St. Francis saw the world upside down and the utter dependence of everything on God. But the quotation of Chesterton is worth reading, I think, too, because it reveals his interesting perspective on the mosaic. He says, in the apse is a half moon of gold of the usual pattern, but at the top there is a cloud out of which comes the hand above the crucifix. It does not merely bless it or even rest on it. It seems to take the cross as if by the cross hilt and thrust it into the earth below. Yet in one sense it is the very reverse of a sword, since its touch is not death but life, springing and sprouting and shooting into the air, that the world may have life and that it may have it more abundantly. So for a reflection today, I think it's worthwhile to think about ourselves as the branches of the vine and our interconnectedness with each other as well as with Jesus on the crucifix. And I think it's also worthwhile to look up an image of the mosaic in the Basilica of San Clemente. And of course, if you get the opportunity to visit Rome, I think it's well worthwhile visiting the Basilica. Thank you.